The sun blazed down mercilessly on the small suburban street, its heat shimmering off the asphalt. On the corner of Maple Avenue, an old, rickety table stood under the sparse shade of a leaning oak tree. Behind it was a little girl, no older than 8, with curls that clung to her face in the sticky summer air. Her sign, written in crayon on a piece of cardboard, read, "Lemonade for my daddy's surgery, $1." Her small hands gripped the pitcher tightly as she poured lemonade into paper cups, her eyes darting to every passing car with a mix of hope and desperation. Most vehicles zoomed by without slowing, but she remained undeterred. She adjusted her oversized glasses, wiped a bead of sweat from her brow, and whispered to herself, "Just one more sale, please." What Emma didn't know was that the next person to stop at her stand would change everything. Emma had always been a daddy's girl. Her father, Mark, was her hero, a loving single dad who worked tirelessly as a mechanic to provide for them. Though life wasn't always easy, they managed with laughter and love. Their small apartment wasn't much, but it was filled with warmth, pancake breakfasts on Sunday mornings, bedtime stories about brave adventurers, and shared dreams of a brighter future. But 3 months ago, their world turned upside down. Mark had been working late at the garage when he suddenly collapsed. His co-workers rushed him to the hospital, where doctors delivered devastating news. Mark had a severe heart condition that required immediate surgery. Without it, his chances of survival were slim. Emma overheard the hushed conversations between her dad and the doctors. She saw the worry etched into his face and the tears he tried to hide. Insurance barely covered the basics, and Mark was unable to work during his recovery. The bills began piling up, and Emma's once lively home grew quiet with uncertainty. One evening, Emma sat in her room clutching her favorite stuffed bunny, Mr. Wiggles, as she listened to her dad's muffled voice on the phone. "I'll figure something out," he said, though his tone betrayed his fear. It was then that Emma decided she couldn't just sit and watch her daddy worry. She had to do something. That night, she rummaged through the kitchen, pulling out a bag of lemons, a jar of sugar, and a plastic pitcher. With determination far beyond her years, she squeezed every lemon and stirred until her arms ached. Her plan was simple: sell lemonade and save her dad. The next morning, she set up her makeshift stand at the corner of their street. Armed with her hand-drawn sign and a heart full of hope, she began her mission. The first few days were hard. People walked by without stopping, and cars sped past without a glance. Emma's initial enthusiasm began to wane as she counted her meager earnings each evening. Still, she refused to give up. On the 5th day, as the summer sun beat down relentlessly, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb. Emma's heart skipped a beat as the tinted window rolled down. A woman in a tailored suit and designer sunglasses stepped out, her heels clicking against the pavement. "How much for a cup?" the woman asked, her voice smooth and detached. $1, Emma replied, her voice trembling slightly. The woman handed her a crisp $10 bill. "Keep the change," she said, taking a cup of lemonade. She sipped it, her expression softening as she read the sign. "What's your name?" "Emma," she said quietly. "And your dad, what's his name?" "Mark. He's really sick," Emma explained, her voice quivering. "He needs surgery, and I'm trying to help." The woman knelt down, her sharp features softening. "You're a brave little girl, Emma. I'll be back." Without another word, she got into her car and drove away, leaving Emma confused and wondering if she'd said something wrong. The next morning, Emma woke up to a commotion outside her window. Peeking through the curtains, she saw a crowd gathering at the corner where her stand was. Curious, she quickly dressed and hurried outside. To her amazement, the woman from the day before was there, but she wasn't alone. A camera crew, reporters, and a group of strangers holding signs had joined her. Emma's heart raced as she approached her stand, unsure of what to expect. The woman smiled warmly. "Emma, my name is Rachel Turner. I'm a journalist with Channel 7 News. Your story touched me deeply, and I wanted to help." She gestured to the crowd. "These people heard about your dad and wanted to support you." Emma's eyes widened as the strangers stepped forward one by one. A local bakery owner offered to sell her lemonade in their shop, pledging to donate all profits. A nurse from the hospital volunteered to provide additional medical resources. A young boy her age handed her a jar of coins, saying, "This is my allowance. I want to help your dad." Donations poured in throughout the day. By sunset, Emma's small lemonade stand had raised thousands of dollars. But the biggest surprise came when Rachel approached her with tears in her eyes. "Emma," Rachel said, "I've been in touch with a foundation that assists families in need. They've agreed to cover the remaining cost of your dad's surgery." Emma's breath hitched, and she looked up at Rachel with wide, teary eyes. "Really?" she whispered. Rachel nodded. "Your determination inspired so many people, Emma. You've shown us what love and hope can achieve." When Emma told her dad the news, Mark broke down in tears. For years, he had been the one to protect and provide for her. Now, it was his little girl who had saved him. "You did this for me?" he asked, his voice thick with emotion. Emma nodded, climbing into his lap and hugging him tightly. "I love you, Daddy. I couldn't let anything happen to you." The surgery was scheduled within weeks. On the morning of the operation, the hospital waiting room was filled with familiar faces from the neighborhood. People who had been moved by Emma's story came to show their support. Rachel was there too, documenting the journey for her new segment. The surgery lasted several hours, each minute feeling like an eternity for Emma. When the doctor finally emerged, her heart pounded in her chest. The surgery was a success, the doctor announced with a smile. "Mark is going to be okay." Relief washed over Emma as she threw her arms around Rachel, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling with gratitude. Life slowly returned to normal for Emma and Mark, but their lives were forever changed by the kindness of their community. Mark regained his strength and returned to work, though he made sure to spend more time with Emma, cherishing every moment they had together. Emma's lemonade stand became a symbol of hope in their town. Every summer, she continued to set up her table, not out of necessity, but to raise money for other families in need. Her story inspired countless others to believe in the power of love and resilience. One day, as Emma prepared her lemonade stand for another summer, a young girl approached her with a shy smile. "My mom says you're a hero," she said. "Can I help you?" Emma grinned, handing her a pitcher. "Of course. Let's make some lemonade." If Emma's story moved you, imagine the difference we can make when we come together as a community. Share this video to spread the message of hope and kindness. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories that remind us of the good in the world. Together, we can make a difference, one small act of kindness at a time.